Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Untapped Podcast. My name is Jacob Gabel.
And my name is Jacob Wurtz, guys. Welcome to episode 179 of the Untapped Podcast. If this is your first time joining us, first of all, thank you. We are thrilled to have you here with us. We actually have 5 main formats of our show. So first, we have Forging Fortitude episodes. Now, in these episodes, we cover the mental side of our brand. So we go over our anecdotal experiences with things like mindset and mentality. We then pass on tips and advice to you guys to then apply to your own lives. Next, we have physical vitality episodes. Now, in these episodes, we cover the physical side of our brand. So in these ones, we really get to showcase our expertise because you have 2 certified personal trainers here. Now, in these episodes, we cover everything that we offer through our Untapped training powered by First Form. We covered that in last week's episode. So if you don't know what we're talking about, go give last week's episode a listen, where we gave some preliminary details on our brand new merger with the First Form Performance platform for our Untapped training. Now, in addition to that, we also talk about everything to do with the gym, workouts, diet, supplementation, mental toughness programs like 75 Hard, for example. And then sometimes we'll take trending articles or topics within the fitness industry and give our thoughts and opinions on those. Now, guys, these physical vitality episodes are full of free game, so make sure you pay attention.
Great delivery, dude. All right. On to our third format, guys. Our third format is our breaking news format. It is a current event-based format. We sit down and touch on current events, current articles going on in today's world, primarily the United States, which is where we are located. Now, keep in mind, a lot of the content you see around current events is very doom and gloom in the sad aspects of things or the depressing headlines, etc. We're here to bring solutions to all that stuff, along with just giving you awareness to it as well. Now, on to our fourth format. That is our Knights Table format. It is a masculinity-based format. We sit down and touch on things like toxic masculinity, if it's real, what it really is, fatherhood, the impact it's had on all 3 of our lives in here, and then also male-based topics in general and how important men are to the future of the world and especially the United States. Keep in mind, I'm 27. Wurtz is 27. Our producer, Mitch, is 25. Because of that reason, we are not coming to you as some all put-together perfect man. The only perfect man to ever walk this earth is Jesus Christ. Now, on to our 5th format. That is our guest format. We sit down with entrepreneurs, fitness professionals, athletes, doctors, anybody with a great story or somebody who brings you value. We learn a lot from these episodes. In turn, you will also learn a lot from these episodes. Now, our last thing to introduce before the intro of the episode, our producer and my brother, Mitchell Gabel.
Yo.
What's up, dude?
What's up?
You made the Untapped Instagram today.
No, I didn't.
You did.
That's not me.
That's an AI version of Mitch that we had at the men's workout.
Yep. That's Michael.
Son.
No.
The reason I'm
Michael.
telling Mitch that, by the way, guys, real quick on that is he doesn't have an Instagram. But
But I still see everything, so don't worry. I saw it.
Creepo.
Palantir. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Yep, right.
Peter Thiel.
Yeah. Big Peter Thiel guy. That guy sucks.
Definitely not the Antichrist, for sure.
Right. But yeah, no, Mitch, you are world famous now.
Already was. Don't worry about it.
Interesting.
Little did you guys know.
Yeah, right. So what's up, dude?
What has been going on?
Speaking of Peter Thiel, nice shirt color.
Thanks. Does he wear green a lot?
That's teal.
Oh, my.
Boo.
That wasn't even a joke. That was just a fact. You guys suck. You'd be terrible comedy show audience members.
We start booing. We'd go to support you at a comedy show if you ever did that, and we'd just be booing you.
Yeah,
the whole
we're
time.
gonna throw tomatoes and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
on
all right.
stage.
It would garner a lot of attention that way.
It would. Yeah, because then we could set up cameras and just catch it all.
Exactly.
2 hecklers, toss around this local comedian. It's really just us trying to
it
drum
wouldn't
up
be local.
clicks.
It'd be worldwide.
Well, eventually worldwide, yes.
No,
but
first show. You've heard of Coachella, right? And the size of the crowds there.
Coachella.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna
Mine would
perform
be double
comedy
that.
at Coachella.
No. The size of my audience would be double that.
Would your
Sweet.
Jacob Gillis? You kind of look like Shane Gillis.
That kind of sucks.
You saying he looks autistic?
Yeah. That's what from all of Shane's jokes where he says that he barely dodged it.
Well, no, because his
know.
brother has Down syndrome,
I think
and so he says he barely dodged it. Yeah, though it's so funny. Yeah,
That's insane. Okay, moving on. Mitch's fact of the day. Go.
I think we got him rattled over there.
I'm not rattled.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know the average cloud weighs 1 million pounds on average? Did you know that?
Lies.
That's a lot.
A lot of rain. They just got loaded up in there.
A lot of cloud.
Yeah.
Coming from Mr. St. Cloud himself.
Kind of crazy considering airplanes just fly through them.
Well, yeah, and they float.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like boats. Like, how does an aircraft carrier float? You know, like when you think about it a little bit, like that's insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's funny enough. It's a really good point.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is weird. Truthfully, those type of things, one, like the aircraft carrier would be a perfect example of the ingenuity God's given us as humans to create things like that.
Sure.
Clouds are a great example of the nature God's given us and how cool that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's a reason clouds are there.
Yeah.
You know, there is a purpose for them because they provide the precipitation we need.
Sure.
Obviously, you know what I mean? So
what was it? 100 million pounds?
I think it was just 1 million.
1 million pounds.
Yeah, just 1 million. Yeah. But regardless,
Yeah.
that type of stuff to me is like miracle. Like that's God's work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there are obvious things in the world to me that are like, oh yeah, God's real.
For sure.
You know, and clouds, I think, would be
something
one of
as
those.
simple as that.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, not simple, maybe, but 1 million pound thing floating above us, just going in the wind.
Yep. Has to have the perfect balance of whatever you want to call it, the density that goes along with it, or whatever other factors are included in it.
I'm not a cloudologist.
I'm not. Yeah. Cloudologist. Imagine you just specialize in clouds and that's
Oh,
it.
well, you know that exists.
I don't know.
Like
Wurtz.
PhDs for sure. Yeah.
I thought you were a cloudologist.
Yeah.
He used to be back in the day.
He knows all about. He knows how much cloud weighs exactly. He measures it. Yeah.
This one's a little heavier than that.
It would turn his car into like up.
Yeah. That's how he would get to school.
Instead of balloons, it would just be floating from the clouds.
Oh yeah. He knows all about it.
I was not a stoner, if that's what you think these guys are insinuating.
No,
on
weed's
me here.
game.
Yeah, 100%. That's a topic that we have coming up.
For
Actually.
sure. Yeah,
Yes,
actually.
yes.
It is. Yeah.
Goodness. All right, let's talk sports.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah.
You know I'm always up for that.
100%.
Yeah. Oh, cat.
Yeah, we do have a cat.
Hello,
there.
there's a feline in the building.
How do people incorporate sports back into their lives?
Which is kind of a fun question.
It is.
Because
Absolutely.
I think most people would be interested in some manner.
For sure.
There's actually, so I'll start this by saying with the men's league hockey Mitch and I play, what's really interesting. So like for those of you that are like, oh, I'm 25 plus, whatever, I can't get back into sports. I can't start a new one, etc. Even something like hockey where you have to learn how to skate, which is a very difficult thing to do. There are a lot of guys I know that started hockey in their 20s.
Yeah.
And are just playing men's league now and whatnot. So let me just preface that real quick that Mitch and I play with on a weekly basis. It's still possible, even in a sport like hockey, which takes a lot of skill development, so to speak, you know?
Well, because it's the most unique of the sports, I would say, because it's a different surface. You know,
Sure.
Obviously there's differences between a basketball court and a baseball or football field.
Sure.
For sure. But all of those things you're running on, you're walking on, just like you normally do. Hockey is obviously the only one that's completely different, you know? And I guess, well, of the major sports, you know, it's the only one that's completely different. So absolutely there is a much different type of skill development that comes with something like that.
Yeah.
Each sport is going to have their own skill development, of course, but there's a big differentiation there between hockey and those other three.
Big learning gap.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
Sure. Yeah. Which
Absolutely.
is what we're going to talk about later on for sure in the episode is like the skill development, how beneficial that is.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah.
But let's talk about how to even get back into it.
I mean, I think the how is pretty simple because you can go a couple different routes. Number one, you could play the sport that you grew up playing with primarily. You know, if you played baseball growing up, there's men's baseball leagues. There's also softball, whether that's fast pitch or slow pitch. My dad played a lot of fast pitch back in the day. I've played a lot of slow pitch, you know, and so that's a simple one because it's essentially the same sport that you grew up playing. So you already have a lot of those skills honed in. Even if it's been a few years since you've played, it's not going to take you that much or not going to take you that long to get back into the swing of things. Pun definitely intended, by the way.
That was a good delivery there too, for sure.
So that's one route. You can stick with the sport that you played growing up. You and Mitch are doing that with your men's league hockey. Same idea. Or you can take up some of the lower barrier to entry type sports. Now, the first couple that come to mind there, number one is pickleball.
Mm-hmm.
That's obviously a very popular thing because the barrier to entry is very low.
Mm-hmm.
You could be 13 playing it. You could be 83 playing it. And literally that happens, you know? You only need 2 people. You could go up to 4 people. And it's a very fun activity. It's competitive.
Mm-hmm.
It requires you to move around a lot. It requires you to have good hand-eye coordination, things like that, good motor skills, which again, maybe some more of the specifics of those types of things will come here in just a few minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one. And then obviously golf would be the next one. You know, again, the barrier to entry is pretty low with golf. Now, it can be expensive to start. Doesn't have to be, because you can find some used clubs. Maybe you have a neighbor that has some old clubs they're not using anymore. That's how I got started.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't have to be expensive. I think when people think of golf, they associate it with money and associate it with expensive and things like that. It can certainly be that way.
Mm-hmm.
There's no doubt. But again, it truly does not have to be. And the great thing about golf is, number one, it's not required to have other people with you. Does that make it better? For sure.
Mm-hmm.
But you can go to the range by yourself. You can go to the putting green by yourself. You can even go play golf by yourself.
Depends on, probably middle of the week would be the best time to do that. You and I have talked about
Well,
that
yeah,
before too,
yeah,
but still,
and-
regardless.
But even if you get paired up with other people, you're still playing by yourself.
Sure.
And you can, if you want to be away from the random people you're with, then you can be, you know. But yes, to literally play by yourself can be difficult because courses are trying to get as many people out there as they can. But anyway, you can practice on your own. You can play on your own. You don't have to have the brand new shiny clubs that are going to add 75 yards to your drive, because I'm here to tell you they probably aren't going to do that. Now, I will say there is something to be said for getting clubs that are fitted to you and that are new compared to older clubs. I experienced that this summer and very happy with the purchases I made. So anyway, those would be the first 2 that come to mind as far as just picking a sport that you did not grow up playing, perhaps, that also have a low barrier to entry, that
Mm-hmm.
pretty much any age, any gender, any athletic ability can play. You
Yep.
know, maybe some nuance there on the last point. You know, you do have to have some sort of athletic ability, but
Sure.
you can
As
progress.
we've talked about, golf allows a little bit more leeway.
It
with that,
does,
so to speak.
It
Yeah.
does, but there is still a pretty strong element of athleticism required for golf. Even though the ball is just sitting still and you can take as much time as you want pretty much to hit the ball and all this, if you can't rotate effectively, you're not going to hit the ball well. If you can't, read slopes and things like this on greens, like if you don't have because that is a part of being athletic, being able to anticipate things. That's a huge part of athleticism, is anticipation. It doesn't matter the sport,
Mm-hmm.
If you have the ability or don't have the ability to do those things, then you're not going to be very successful.
Mm-hmm.
Those are things that you can build, and those are skills that you can build and work on and progress at. It just takes time.
Yeah, it does. I think the interesting part about where you were talking about, because I want to also touch on with pickleball and golf, the introduction aspect of it, to where I think some people, they will go, especially former athletes, and will go and play pickleball, for example, and go as hard as possible right off the bat. We're really going to say here, guys, it's the same idea as strength training. With strength training, you want to kind of ease your way in a little bit at first, because it's something that's unusual. If you're obviously like 16 years old or something like that, like really young, a lot of the times you can get away with hammering it a little bit more.
Sure.
But if you're somebody who hasn't really like played a sport in a while or moved in a while or something like that, going in and just going as hard as you can with all the lateral movements that are involved in pickleball, for example, all the rotational aspects,
Jumping even.
jumping, there can be risk to that to a certain degree. And again, like, I think you and I would sit here and say that sports in general will naturally have a higher injury profile possibility than something like strength training or like dedicated cardio work.
For sure.
Because again, you're thinking about something that is
Unpredictable.
unpredictable is a great word
Yeah.
for it. Yes. Where you don't know what's going to happen, and again, something like with golf, for example, I wouldn't say the demands are going to be near as high.
Sure.
Unless you're trying to swing out of your shoes 100 swings in a night the first time you
Yeah.
start doing it or something like that,
Right.
then you'll probably be sore.
Oh, yeah.
I've been sore after I haven't golfed for a while and I've tried to do my driver for 15, 20 swings and I'm like, oh gosh, like this is already wearing me out a little bit. So is there starting point demands? Yes. I want to make a point of that along with what you're saying too, to where you have to evaluate yourself a little bit in the first few months or so, just like you would with string training and whatnot, introducing it to you, building that tolerance, et cetera, building the tissue tolerance that comes along with it as well. And I think you're right. I want to go back to the point where you were talking about the aspect of golf that's very anticipatory, so to speak. To me, putting is very similar to making a hockey pass, for example. I have to anticipate, will this guy step up and steal the puck before I put this on this guy's stick, when I'm across the ice. With putting, will this thing cut right or will it break left, et cetera, that type of stuff. You have to anticipate that. So I find a lot of similarities to that. And you're right. Again, that's the little things like that are what's so important about sports because it really is very good mentally for you, actually. Like, a lot of people miss the fact that sports are not just physical. Golf especially is not just physical. Golf is a lot of very small intangibles all pieced together and around. You know what I mean? So because it could depend on your lie. It could depend, like, aka where the ball's sitting and whatnot. It could depend, okay, did you just put it in the fairway and maybe, your club changes because of that, because you're not just trying to chip it back into the fairway compared to when you put it behind a tree or something like that. And, you have to just put it back in the middle of the fairway. So it's all these different factors you have to consider, which are so good for you mentally, because it's the same thing as doing like a crossword puzzle long term. A lot of old people, they benefit from doing crossword puzzles and just different equations like that, so to speak, because of the fact that it keeps the brain healthy long term.
Absolutely.
Just like sports do.
Yeah.
It's the same concept, which is why we're encouraging this anyways here. I think golf and pickleball are probably the two, like you said, lowest barrier to entry starting points for sure. Obviously, pickleball is going to be the much cheaper option out of those two for sure. And again, the lateral motion, I can't emphasize enough with pickleball. That's so good. The stop, start, the side to side, the anticipating where the ball is going, all that stuff's included in it for a low price. You know what I mean? Like there's pickleball courts everywhere now anymore.
And paddles don't have to be expensive.
And paddles do
they
not
can
have
be.
to
I've seen some outrageously
crazy ones.
Priced ones.
For like a piece of plastic, basically. But I guess they do different things, obviously, just like clubs do different things.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, if you have the ability to, play the basketball, the soccer as well, the hockey, the baseball, all that stuff, there's nothing wrong with that either. Because I'm sure you had a lot of guys that were in lower leagues in your slow pitch division that also really hadn't played much baseball, if at all, anymore.
Sure.
Or at all, ever, So even then, like, that's still good because it's also you have a camaraderie around it as well, too. That's another thing about sports is, like, most of the time when we talk about the gym here, you're only by yourself or maybe with a lifting partner. Maybe your gym community is really good, which is great. Like Iron Hive is that way for me for sure, which is awesome. But it's not the same as getting on the bench in hockey and conversing with my teammates and whatnot.
Sure.
I played with a different team this past weekend, and it was just great because I was getting to know these new guys. It was getting to know their tendencies when they're on the ice, that type of stuff. So you're having to anticipate different things there, which also improves your social skills, which is also much better for your health long term too.
Well,
so yeah,
it's also going to improve your critical thinking because there's strategy that also comes from those conversations, and that's going to go for any of the team sports. As individual of a sport, people think baseball is at times. Don't get me wrong, there are individual aspects of baseball, softball, but there's still a lot of strategy that goes into how you build your lineup, how you build your defense, what you do on the base paths, things like that. Whether you're playing slow pitch or high level baseball, it doesn't matter. Those types of ideas and strategies are being considered at all times, and I want to go back to something before we move on here that you mentioned about golf and all of the different intangible qualities that get put together during a round. Those are the reason that people don't usually enjoy watching golf on TV and or baseball, because they see them as slow sports. And it's because they don't understand all of those intangibles going on behind the scenes. There's so much of baseball that is mental, so much of it. And your mind, if you're a good player, your mind is constantly moving and constantly thinking, okay, if the ball gets hit here, I'm going there with the ball. If it gets hit there, I'm going here with the ball. If he hits it here, I'm going, whatever it is. Golf, same thing. All those things you mentioned. You also have to take into account all of the nature aspects, the wind, the sun, where is it positioned? If it's raining, you got to think about that. Like, okay, if I hit the ball into the green, it's not going to roll as far because it's wet. If it's morning time and there's morning dew still out on the course, the ball isn't going to roll. If it's later in the afternoon, it's a hot day, the ball's going to fly on the fairways and on the greens. So there's all these different things that you are thinking about. So this is just to add to your point that it's still so beneficial mentally in addition to the physical aspects. Are you going to get a ton of physical aspects out of a round of golf as far as like, man, I got a lot of exercise today? Maybe not compared to a pickleball or hockey or even a slow pitch softball, because there can be a lot of running involved with that and sprints as well. Now, is your step count going to be high for the day playing around in golf? Absolutely. Is that a bad thing? No, not at all. That's tremendous. People probably get more steps in a round of golf than what they do in most days, for the average person. So I just wanted to add in those couple points to what you were saying there. Because I thought you were making or bringing up really good ideas there.
Before we move on to another thing of how to find stuff, really small piece, go to Facebook. Facebook has great groups for that. And a lot of times Facebook will also have just like men's league lacrosse, men's league hockey, men's league baseball, golf leagues, pickleball leagues, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Go on there. If you're searching for a community that way, Facebook's a really good example of how to find that. If you're looking around a new area or if you just don't know the area well, even if you grew up in it, so.
Even places like your city hall or there's probably a YMCA somewhere near where those places have bulletin boards, where, people might post a flyer up for a golf league, or a Frisbee golf league or something like, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Or it could also be like a playing card club or something. You know what I mean? So that's not sports, obviously, but
the goal is we'll have our like men's workouts up, for example, at places like that too. You know
absolutely.
What I mean? Because then it makes it easy if people want to show up that way. Like some dudes want to show up easily.
Yeah.
And again, like obviously we'll be strategic with how we place that and whatnot because it depends on the intensity for some people too. Yeah.
And we also understand the current world, and that's why we primarily and only currently use social media for these types of things because that is the most effective way to get the word out. So that just ties into your point of checking Facebook, checking Instagram, checking your city's website and things like that. There should be things posted on all those types of platforms. Why would you say these are important? Well, this is important for people to consider for their lives, in addition to going to the gym and getting dedicated exercise throughout the week.
I would say I would sit back and I would go more into depth on the social camaraderie aspect of it. Because especially our generation, we're at obviously the top of Gen Z, the old heads basically of Gen Z, essentially on our end of things, being born in 98. And our generation, especially Gen Z, has been found to be the loneliest generation as well. So I cannot stress enough how bad loneliness is for your health. That has been proven time over and over again. If you do not have friends or people you interact with on a daily basis or a weekly basis at minimum, it makes you struggle. Big time. Like it's just not a good thing. It's not a good thing if you are an isolated person, so to speak. So that's why that would be where I would lean. Probably the number one point when it comes to sports is that camaraderie aspect. Again, it's also a fun way to exercise.
Absolutely.
Sports are a lot of fun. You even mentioned Frisbee golf. Something like that is a blast. It's very unique.
It is.
The crowd around it is kind of unique too. But again, like mountain biking is another example, a very unique crowd, but it's something niche that people can kind of get into depending on the difficulty of the course you would pick. Or the routes you would pick. But that's a big thing too, is that it's a blast and it's an easy way to get exercise in because you could play a sport once or twice a week or even 2 or 3 times a week. And then the rest of the week you could do your strength training and your cardio and still fit it in that way too.
Absolutely.
So it just meshes really well with everything else. So
No, and that's kind of the route I was going to actually go with it. Is it's a very fun way to get exercise in because in the moment you're not thinking about it being exercise. Now, is this something that you consider like one of your 75 hard workouts? Probably not.
Just depends.
Yeah. If Andy was sitting here, he would probably say no. but that's not the point of the episode here. Whether it
if I was to say like pickleball and you're doing 2-on-2, probably not. Depending on the group you're with. But if you're doing 1-on-1, oh yeah, like Like there's a workout aspect. And again, if it's part of your program, that's a different story entirely too.
Sure.
Like
Sure.
if your coach programs, oh yeah, you're going to go play a sport for an hour or something like that. That counts as a workout, obviously.
So there's nuance there, you know.
Because the only downside about that would be that if you were to, like, I wouldn't count golf, for example.
No, definitely not.
It just wouldn't be intense enough to be considered that at all.
Right.
Part of a 45-minute workout. But if you're doing something like going and playing a hockey game, or you know, you have a very active slow pitch game that night, or maybe even fast pitch and whatnot, because you're active in the field, that could be argued for sure. Because the problem is, if you don't add that to the 75 hard routine, you have to do 2 other decently intense workouts. That gets a lot of volume added up real quick. Sure. If you're not careful about that too.
Better be eating.
Yeah, exactly. You better be consuming an ass ton of protein.
Yeah.
For sure. Just to recover from that. But I would say there is an argument depending on the intensity of the sport and how you are utilizing it in your weekly training plans.
Yeah, right.
You know, because if it's just something like you're going and drinking beer and whatnot, and you're hanging out and that's all you're kind of doing, you don't really try hard in the sport. Yeah, that's not a workout,
for
obviously.
Sure. Well, and as you mentioned, if it's something that's literally programmed for you, I mean, that's a part of your workout regimen. You know what I mean? Like that is a dedicated part of your weekly activity. You know, so for sure. But I think the 2 that you mentioned are the main 2 places to go with this, you know, and I would say those 2 things are definitely worth whatever cost it might be financially. You know, now if you're paying $10,000 for a men's hockey league, you might need to be reconsidering the league that you're in. Didn't know this was a NHL prep league, but
I must have missed that step part of it.
Right.
Oh my.
But man, yeah, from the last several years, like some of my best memories of having fun are around softball.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and heck, you've been a part of a lot of those too. You know, just kind of being a part of the group and whatnot.
Yep.
You know, we've gone on some fun trips for it, and you know, just we've got some friends that we may have otherwise not ever met or gotten as close to or whatever because of these rec sports that we play. You know, I've met plenty of your hockey guys and things like that. So it's the same thing. We've done some really cool golf outings, you know, and so it's a lot of fun. It's good for the brain. It's still productive for the brain and for the body as well. It's competitive, which is always a good thing as well. Depending on the situation, because there's plenty of men's hockey leagues, I'm sure, that are not very competitive, and it's more just hey, this is an excuse for us to get together and drink beer during the middle of the week.
Big time.
You know, and listen, if that's what you want to do, that's great. That's not what we're advocating for here necessarily, because those aren't the relationships that you're going to take forever, I don't think. You know, there's going to be some outliers, and maybe there are, you know, but we're advocating for a step above that, you know, and still having that competitive edge to it. But it's not like every sports scenario that we find ourselves in now is competitive. Like sometimes we'll just go out and throw the football. You know, after our men's workouts, we usually have a football, maybe a frisbee, maybe both, that we're just running around, throwing the football, throwing the frisbee, running routes and stuff. Sometimes we play a game and, you know, that gets competitive in a fun way though, you know, and if you guys need proof of that, go watch our most recent vlog made by Jake Ward. He killed it.
He did kill it.
But that is from one of our October men's workouts. So definitely go watch that video because you kind of get a look into how these go. You know, it's a good, solid 30-minute workout. All the boys suffering together. It's a hard workout, but it's still fun. And again, you see that in the video. But there's a togetherness there that comes with it. And then we go out and we play a competitive football game. You know, again, it's fun. It's, you know, we're not blowing each other up and things like that, but it's competitive, you know, and when your team doesn't score, like, you're pissed off. You know what I mean? Or when JT drops wide open touchdowns, you know?
Gosh, dude. Yeah, he said something about...
I had to throw that in.
He said something about catching 3 touchdowns or whatever.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm like, JT, you went 1 for 3 last time. Like, come on, dude. Come on, man.
Wide open passes too, man. Don't worry, I haven't still been thinking about
it. It's okay.
That
Drew clutched it out. Drew came and clutch won it for you guys.
True.
Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, we're definitely advocates of fitting sports into your life. We know it can be difficult. People are busy. There's a financial cost that comes with it, and it takes a little bit of dedication, but I would say that those things are worth whatever setback might come with it.
What would you say about the social isolation aspect of it, about our generation and whatnot, and how especially men are found to be loneliest? Because I can say on my end, and I know you feel the exact same way, our men's workouts, especially the last one with the 10 dudes that showed up, unbelievable.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, genuinely some of the best I've felt in a long time.
Yeah.
That camaraderie. And so because of the fact that all these things come out that say men are as lonely as they've ever been, all that stuff, what would you say about that piece with sports and then also men's workouts type stuff like ours?
Yeah. I mean, I just think back to the conversation, the difference in conversations that you and I have after our men's events when we have a lot of people show up compared to when we don't have as many show up. I'll just be honest with you guys here. When we don't have a ton of guys show up, it's a little disheartening because, number one, because we put a lot of effort into it. Not only planning the workout, planning the morning, planning the whole event. There's pre-planning that goes on. We make our own graphics. We are posting these things to social media. We're reaching out to people. Not to mention, we are bringing all of the equipment. That stuff's heavy. That's a funny point maybe, but this is equipment that we've bought that we want to put to use with people. We want to showcase our coaching because we care deeply about that, and we're also good at it. So it can be a little disheartening. Has that stopped us from continuing to put on events? No, absolutely not.
And it won't. Yeah.
And it won't. And this isn't to like guilt people or anything like that. It's just honesty here. Compared to this past one, for example, again, where we had a lot of people show up. And, this isn't the first one where we've had a lot of people show up. This is just the most recent example. But it feels awesome. It really does. Because the group was still at a size where you and I can still participate in the workout, so then we get to coach and work out. Like, that's awesome.
Which is awesome. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And we're also there suffering with the guys because, again, these aren't easy workouts. It might only be 30 minutes, but you're going to get your ass kicked for sure, but we're doing it together, and that's the point. So to actually answer your question here and to piggyback a little bit off of what you said, like, it feels so great when you have a group that size, and then as we continue to grow together, talking about all the right things, including the fun things that we talk about and the stupid things we talk about, but talking about the right things as well. We're all around the same age, same generation. JT a little bit on the higher end of that. Obviously.
Yeah, wow.
We did have to wheel him out to the beginning of the workout. Yeah. But that's okay.
It's like bringing a cadaver to the workout.
A little bit. Yeah. I mean, heck, that's why he has a Tesla, because he can't drive anymore. That's how old he is. It's got to take him places on its own.
Bro, we gave him shit for that at the last workout too. He was so fed up. He's like, "You guys got to buy me a car then."
It feels really great. It really does to have a group that size, doing the things that we're doing, the fun that we're having, the work that we're putting in together. The relationships you're building, because you and I are also the avenue to a lot of those guys meeting each other. Otherwise, they never would, So that's also a really cool aspect and a responsibility on our part, to make those introductions and to not just grow the group so that we feel better about the size of the group, but also make genuine relationships with those guys, with each other.
It's putting men around each other who also want to win. That's very difficult to find. So men that want to get better and show up to things like this and will continue to show up to it, it's like, that means the world. That's the idea, because as much as we talk about the state of the world and whatnot, the number one thing that needs to happen is men need to organize. Yeah. Things like this are a great way to do that.
100%, dude.
Because again, like we talked about it a while ago. I think it was like season 3. We talked about the lone wolf concept and whatnot. How it's basically very corny in general, and how it's not an effective method to go about living your life as a man. Avoid the lone wolf propaganda bullshit all day long. Come to groups like this and show out and get better. Yeah, that's the idea, because all these other men want the same things you do. Again, we're, obviously we openly talk about our viewpoints on stuff too. Sure. And then that can also spark conversations with the other men and how we go about solving issues and stuff like that in our own communities, etc. Next thing you know, that organization we're talking about continues to grow.
Well, and that was going to be one of my next points is it also gives, because not everyone has a podcast or a social media platform like what you and I do, where, again, we talk about our views very openly, and they're everywhere. They're on all the social media platforms. It's not that hard to find, Not that we're talking about anything egregious, but we talk about what we believe, And so not everyone has something like this to get those ideas out for themselves. So creating a group like what we are doing here is giving a space for those other guys to talk about those ideas. You know what I mean? And so they leave that workout and it's like, wow, maybe I'm not like the only one that thinks these things.
Yep, right.
And so then they go to the other people that they interact with in their lives, and they're like, not only like, hey, you should come to this men's group, these workouts I've been going to. Like, it's a blast. Jacob and Jacob are two really great guys. Like, they're fun to be around. They coach us. They work out with us. Like, it's a lot of fun. I'd love for you to come. So not only could that happen, but then they start having those conversations as well away from the group, and those ideas grow. And that organization, as you talked about, it grows and it becomes more widespread. And again, it's we're not necessarily planning the next revolution or anything like that, but it's just
Right.
It's talking about the things that we're all thinking, that everybody's thinking, but no one really wants to talk about because it's maybe a little edgy. We're doing it on camera here. So let us give you the space to talk about these things so that you realize you aren't by yourself. You aren't alone. And you're not falling into that lone wolf, category,
Correct.
so to speak. So that's definitely one of the objectives with this group, and back a few years ago, before we started doing workouts, we were just getting guys together just to kind of talk and hang out, and it would be more conversational, those types of meetings. I think the workout ones have been more beneficial for getting those conversations out.
Oh yeah.
Because like when you just sit around and like talk about things, it can be a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit awkward.
Men like to do things together.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
sitting and talking is more for women.
Well,
truthfully.
and that's also how you really get to know people as well. Because at these workouts, we've had all levels of activity, whether it's beginners, whether it's overweight, whether it's former athlete, whether it's people who work out consistently. Like we cover all the bases all in one group, and we're all doing it together.
Yep.
That's the point.
Boom.
Boom. All right,
Come
guys.
to the men's workout.
That's right. That's
Well,
right.
actually, yeah.
By this point, it happened this past Saturday.
Happened past Saturday. Thank you all who came out to this.
Yes.
By the way.
For sure.
We can't wait to just keep doing this.
100%.
All the announcements will continue to be on here too for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're aiming for like every couple weeks. That's kind of our goal.
Yep.
To keep them up. So anyway, at the end of all of our non-guest episodes, Money Mitch over there, who was very quiet in an episode that I'm sure he could have added some insight to, but
Dirtbag
we
material.
just got to look at the back of his head all night over here. Anyway, at the end of all of our non-guest episodes, Money Mitch will ask us a Q&A question that's submitted by you guys, the listeners or the viewers. We have a few different ways we would like you guys to submit these to us. Number one, you can DM them to us on Instagram. We are at untapped.llp. You can also DM them to us individually or text them to us if you have our numbers. You can email them to us. Our email is untappedllp@gmail.com. So no longer the long mouthful. And third, you can leave them in the comments of any of our social media posts. We are very active on Instagram, X, TikTok, YouTube, and YouTube Shorts. So you can leave your questions in the comments on any of those platforms. These questions can be about anything. It can be about a past episode. It can be about a current topic in the world. It can be health and fitness related. We certainly love those ones. They can be funny. We love those ones as well. But they can truly be about anything. And then Money Mitch will pick one out to ask at the end of the episode, and then we will give our best shot at them. So, Money Mitch, what you got?
Is the physical or mental aspect of sports more important? Squeak, squeak.
The dirtbag question right there.
Yeah.
Hey, you're a dirtbag.
Hey, let me ask the most nuanced question ever.
Hey, let me trip up these idiots in front of me.
How do you like that side eye action, Mitch?
Yeah, I don't know if you know what that is.
I totally thought it was going to be like, let me drag these nuts on your forehead or something like
Oh,
that.
wow.
I thought that's what
Wow,
going to
that
come back to.
escalated quickly. Yeah,
I don't think that's a question.
Yeah,
But
I think that's more of a statement.
yeah.
Well, that would be not an unusual statement for you.
Hey,
but
what you two do off the camera is your own
That's right.
business. You know, I
That's
don't need to
right.
know about it.
It's not. What do they say?
Wurtz, I think you're just rattled because you're actually going to have to think here.
True. Whenever I have to think about something, it usually goes south pretty quick. For
we
me.
don't like trying here.
No,
so, yeah,
no.
we wouldn't
Minimal
do that.
effort.
Correct.
Minimal effort. Always.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's how you get jacked. That's how you
Yes.
become an all-star at your sport.
Minimum effective dose.
By giving
That's right.
the
Yep,
minimum.
that's what they say.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Is the mental or physical more important in sports? In general, sports in general.
Are you talking about the sports performance,
What do you mean?
or
What's
like,
the difference
or like the
between-
benefits you yourself get from sports? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'd say that
Okay.
probably. Yeah.
And then just sports as a whole.
Sure.
Okay. Just making sure they didn't specify.
No,
Okay.
it's
All right.
wide open.
You wanna-
I'm probably leading off with mental, honestly.
yeah.
That at least I'm leaning toward it, because obviously this is one of those you're like 65% one way, 35% the other, that type of thing.
Yeah.
At least that's how I'm kind of feeling with it, like
Kinda
60,
like
60
your-
40, 70 30, you know, that type of thing.
Kind of like your gay straight ratio.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. My foot, how far my foot's out of the closet. Yeah.
Where where Jacob over there is just peeking out of it. Wurtz here
Oh god.
is
Oh, yeah.
is full on, like,
Well,
halfway out the door.
and remember,
I mean,
he put more back in once he stopped shaving his legs.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He stepped kind of back
Hairy.
inside.
That's what I mean. Like, you put more of
Yeah,
yourself back
yeah.
in the
Right,
closet.
right.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. That happened.
I was jacked when I was doing that. I look freaking good. I don't
Yeah,
want to hear
there's
it.
gay dudes that are jacked.
No, there's not.
But I would definitely.
I mean, I'm looking at one right in
gosh.
front of me right now.
Here we go. Here we go.
All right, anywho.
So the Untapped
how
podcast.
to not be gay. This episode's Q&A. Might as well be what this is. Where I would actually lean, though, I would genuinely be putting more of my thought process to the mental aspects, because the old corny phrase everybody knows is sports build character, right? That's always the classic thing that comes out of it.
Which that was one of our past Q&A questions.
Right, correct. And I think that is extremely true.
Mhm.
Because even if you're not a good athlete at all, if you have really no instincts athletic wise, but you're still on a team, there is a lot of benefits that come along with it.
Mhm.
There's a lot of benefits also that if you're not an athlete, but you work hard and you get better because of that, that teaches you a lot of lessons as well, long term.
Yeah.
And again, the mental aspect also relates to what we were talking about with camaraderie and isolation and whatnot. You don't have isolation when you're a part of a team. Even if you're on a golf team, which is considered an individual sport,
Mhm.
high school teams and college teams are still a thing. The Ryder Cup, USA versus Europe, is
Yeah.
still a thing. That's a team.
Yeah.
You still feel a camaraderie with that alone with the
Yeah.
country. The Olympics are a perfect example of that, etc. So it's a loud
Yeah.
breath.
Yeah.
Anyways, they probably didn't hear it on this. But
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree, dude. And, I was, as you were speaking there, I was trying to kind of formulate an answer where I think depending on where you are in your life, age-wise, it could be one or the other. But then I was kind of stopping myself because where I was going to go with that, and maybe we'll kind of find an answer along the way here. When you're younger, it almost feels like you get more physical benefit because, and I've worked with a lot of youth athletes. Most kids don't know how to move, like literally just in general don't know how
True.
to move. I mean, watch, not even just young kids, but watch teenagers walk or run or whatever. They look goofy. It's not necessarily their own fault.
Mhm.
You got to be taught some of these things.
Up until they're that junior, senior year for most kids.
For most, yeah. And
Yeah.
again, depending on the level of athlete, of course,
Yeah.
matters there as well.
You're talking about a guy who's already getting scouted at D1 by the time he's 14.
Yeah.
Obviously, he moves.
He's going to be ahead
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. And also sometimes kids just mature faster, which we've talked about plenty as well. But I was going to say, as you're younger, and I would say that even extends, maybe into your mid-20s, that you get more physical benefit. And then because of the reasons we outlined earlier, as you get older, and maybe you're just playing in rec leagues, it would seem like you get more mental benefits because it keeps your mind going. I thought that the comparison you made to older people, always in crosswords or puzzles or even card games, for that matter.
Great example.
Where it's purely just mental, that you're using, and so as you get actually older, into your 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond, it's extremely important to keep your mind working, not just waking up and watching movies all day long, but like actually working, doing things with your hands, having to think, having to do those equations you also mentioned. Like I've seen it firsthand in my family, how well that works, or if you don't do those things, what happens very quickly and how fast you deteriorate. I lost both grandpas to dementia, and it's because they stopped doing things.
Yeah.
Now, my grandma on my dad's side, she's 83, 84, something like that, and she does a million things every single day, and you've been around her plenty of times. Like, if you just walked up and met her, you would not know that she's 83. Maybe because she looks that way.
And maybe you would just assume that, right? But you're talking about her mental capacity is phenomenal.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, and unfortunately, both grandpas weren't that way as they got older, and they deteriorated. That's what happened.
Which is also an advocation for, as again, our retiree listenership is not very high. Let's just say that,
right?
For obvious reasons, but it's an advocation for as you get older, continuing to do stuff like that. And then you're right. Even when you're retired, you're still doing stuff.
For sure.
You're not just sitting around and, I get to do nothing now or whatnot.
Right.
You still should be doing things because long term you are more useful to your kids, your grandkids, your great grandkids, et cetera, because of that too.
Well, and that's why you see a lot of older people playing golf, honestly. Number one, it gets them around people because typically they're with friends, whether it's guys or gals or a mixture of both. Like, that's a good thing. They're still getting around people. They're still having fun, but they're also getting somewhat of a physical component to that. They're getting outside, they're having a walk, all these things. So I don't know. Maybe that answer works. Maybe it doesn't. I was trying to toe the line because it's both. We know the real answer is both, but it's not like younger kids don't get any mental capacity or component to playing sports. Like, obviously they do, especially in the team sports, as we outlined. And it's not like as you get older you get zero physical component from them either. So it's a hard answer to the question. Or wow. Hard question.
I was like
to answer.
I was like blown away that just occurred. Honestly,
wow.
And again, I shouldn't be because it's not like I don't mess up English multiple times all the time.
It's a hard question to answer.
Hard answer to question. Yeah.
We did it. Yeah.
Apparently, we need podcast.
We need to do more puzzles. Apparently,
my lord. Yeah. Apparently, we need to read like 3 books a day now or something.
Right.
But
right.
No, I think that's a great, solid wrap up of that answer for sure. Because you're right. The physical development aspect, you can't miss that because that still to this day is coming with golf for me. Like learning how to use my hips and my upper body in conjunction, trying to hit a golf ball has been one of the most difficult things I've ever done in my life, easily.
But I've also seen how far you've come in like the basically the year that we've really been playing. Yeah, dude. And that goes for me as well.
100%.
Yeah.
You look much more comfortable while you're at the tee box, for example.
Oh,
that
yeah.
type of stuff. And it's very obvious when you see, obviously I can't see myself, so I can't comment on that, but easily like those type of things are so big. But then you're also right. The mental aspects are so big because it really is a mental challenge along with that too.
Yeah.
And you're right. I think some of the healthiest people I've seen have been playing golf when they're older.
Sure.
100%.
Sure.
The ones that are playing 4 days a week are usually the ones that are healthiest long term past 75.
Right.
So,
right.
No,
100%. Yeah. All right, guys, that is episode 179. As always, please remember to share the show. It is exactly free $99 for you to do that. We actually put a discount on it.
So cheap.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it's the cheapest around, actually. We checked at different podcasts, and everyone else charges you at least $100 per share.
Kind of scumbag material.
Little bit.
Bit.
Yeah. But ours, for a limited time only, is discounted to free $99. So please remember to share the show to your Instagram stories. Text it around to your friends and family. Help us get the word out for you men. Again, our most recent workout was this past Saturday, November 8th. But be on the lookout for our next one. in the next couple of weeks. Again,
So the next one should be literally announced pretty soon after this episode.
Pretty soon.
Hypothetically.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we confirm all details. But yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're not going to let the holidays, knock us off our schedule and things like that. We're going to do our best to continue to get events going as the holidays are approaching.
Including with the cold weather.
Absolutely.
They will still be
100%.
going even with the cold weather.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Because if you're not soft, then you're going to come out to the work.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, guys. Until next time, peace and love.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Play sports.